Everybody, it's your boy Jack here, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about this comic right here, doing a comic spotlight on the Batman White Knight issue number 1. I love this comic. I got it in the Comic Boxer subscription box for November. This was my favorite comic from that box, and today I'm going to break down about what I liked about this comic compared to a lot of the other comics, why I like this as a different Batman comic, because it's a completely different one. And I'm also going to talk about what I like about this comic and why I'd want to recommend it to you and why I'm going to read the second issue. So let's dive into it. So the Batman White Knight series is really interesting because the story itself is just phenomenal. This is the one thing I'll say about this comic, is that this comic is great because of the fact that it has a great story. Compared to a lot of the other comic books that pair hero versus villain or villain versus hero, that kind of argument or that kind of dynamic, what they do with the Batman White Knight series is that they blur the lines of hero and villain. Obviously we've had the whole idea of the Joker being the villain to Batman. And we've seen that perspective over time, but what they do in this story is that they flip the whole story, where it's like you don't really have an idea of why one's a hero and why one's a villain. They really blur the lines there, and they do create some confusion there, but it is some really interesting confusion. Overall, I like this story because of that. They have Batman, and then but they really include Nightwing and Batgirl and Alfred as side characters to him to really build a great story there. In contrast, they have Jack Napier, who is the Joker, and I really like that because of the fact that you have this great contrast to the Joker himself, where he really doesn't become the Joker. Overall, something I really like about this version of the Joker is, yes, you have that crazy side, and yes, you get a really good backstory on why the Joker himself is such a big threat, but you also get a really interesting backstory on why maybe the Joker doesn't like Batman. Overall though, I have to admit, I really do like this comic because the story itself is a 10 out of 10. You get this really great contrast of these two big characters. Along with that, you have some really great side characters to support this as well. You get Batman and the Joker in this key conflict, but you get a really good side characters with Nightwing and Batgirl as well. So that's something I really did like about this comic. Along with that as well, the art style really does help convey a lot of the messages as well. And that's something I really like about it as well. The comic art in the actual comic itself, you get a very big, brawny, sort of Batfleck type Batman, where it's he's a lot bigger, a lot bulkier, and you get a really different silhouette. It's not a stereotypical one where you have the long bat horns or anything. You just get a really bulky Batman, and you get this really interesting silhouette, because you don't have that skinny Batman where you have this long cape. No, you have this bigger Batman with a silhouette of having a smaller cape that it just sort of looks like. Along with that, it's interesting to see Nightwing and Batgirl in this as well. They're not, a lot of these characters in this comic, the art style isn't, I'm gonna say, a lot more simpler. It's not gonna be really detailed. It's not gonna be not gonna be sort of modern day realism. It's a lot more quick sketch style, which is something that I like. And I like that just because it's you get a whole rushed idea with it. It's this all this idea, all this backstory that happened in this story itself really does support is supported by the drawing itself. So yeah, overall, the Batman the White Knight is a great comic. I'm excited to read the next, I think, 8 issues that is in this series, see what happens, and see if the Joker himself becomes a White Knight. Now, obviously, this story came in the Comic Boxer subscription box, which I'll link down below. Along with that, in the card above, I'm going to be linking the November unboxing to see what other comics I had in this comic box. Along with that as well, as I said, in the December unboxing for the Comic Boxer, I'm doing a special considerations spotlight on Judge Ted the Hunger, which was another comic in that box. So yeah, That's about it though. I would highly recommend this comic if you are interested in Batman, but telling a really different story. That isn't typical to like a Batman or a Robin or anything like that. You don't really get a full-on Batman perspective. You get a lot of a different perspective between Batman, the Joker, and the side characters. And that's what I'd recommend about it. If you want an interesting story that's different compared to the stereotypical comic storyline of good versus evil. Along with that as well, one reason why I'm gonna grab issue number 2 is the way that the story is told. It's greatly told, and it comes in a really good condition. Like I found it, and it wasn't like a, it's in a very like plastically like comic, and I like that because it was just easier to read. So yeah, that's about it. Definitely gonna grab issue number 2, issue number 3 as well. I may do some videos on those few other issues, I'll let you know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Jack Skinner. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you like this issue and if you've read the Batman White Knight series. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that post notifications, that little bell right beside the subscription bar if you want to know when I'm posting stuff, but that's normally Tuesdays and Fridays. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name's Jack Skinner. You have a great night. Bye!